What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Unordinary Podcast. I'm here with Yakov Zar. Yakov is a serial entrepreneur and the founder and CEO of Lev, a commercial real estate finance platform built to bring speed, transparency, and modern software to one of the most opaque industries in the world. Before Lev, he founded and scaled multiple companies, including Dispatch, which was acquired by Vista Equity Partners. After first-hand frustration navigating broken CRE financing processes, he launched Lev in 2019. Since then, Lev has closed billions in loans and positioned itself at the forefront of AI-driven transformation and commercial real estate capital markets. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. How's it going?
It's going great. It's just going great. I spent this entire week, I'm excited to get into it because you were on the forefront of real estate finance and technology. And I spent this entire weekend playing around with OpenClaw, updating Mac Minis. So excited to hear that all look cool.
It's a crazy world. We're like crazy time we're living in.
It is. It really is. Could you kind of, in your words, explain what Lev is? And I'd love to kind of get in your background after.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll share a bit of both. My background's in enterprise software. I started a company called Dispatch. We were building software for home service businesses like plumbers, electricians, appliance repair companies. Like you mentioned, thank you for the background. We sold that business in 2018 to a group called Vista Equity Partners. And then in 2000,
better go to songs. Yeah, Thomas Bravo, this stuff.
Exactly, that vision. And in 2019, I started Lev. And initially, I started the company because, like you said, I helped a nonprofit we're very close with finance their bill. They were going through refinancing, and I called one of our mutual friends, and we worked on that deal. And it took quite some time to get that deal done, a ton of paperwork, back and forth. I was really frustrated by the process. I'm like, this has to be completely digital. And I didn't know much about commercial real estate. Like, I grew up in Great Neck as a Jewish Persian kid. Like, I should have known.
You're the one Jewish Persian kid in Great Neck.
It might be literally in my blood, but it was, in the risk of that's to suppress. Yeah, so I suppressed that, and I was building. I was a software down. Summer's way cooler. Like it's a
fighter,
and so I think so. So I decided, like, let's digitize this transaction, and I started doing some work, and I knew nothing about commercial real estate, which I think is sort of a blessing in that I probably would have just been too scared to even try this. And we spent, we started the business as with what we call a tech-enabled brokerage. So my sort of premise was, we'll be the most efficient brokerage out there for financing, and we'll build the best software to help our team be extremely efficient. And over time, it'll sort of evolve into a fully digital marketplace. And we grew a lot like that. Our first year, we did $100 million of loans. Our second year, we did about $1 billion. We did $1.3 billion the third year. And we were growing like crazy.
And you were recruiting some of the best brokers in the industry to work out.
We had an incredible team of amazingly talented people, like young people, experienced people all over the place. We had a training program to train them a lot.
You recruited people from some of the best capital markets firms in New York that were frustrated with the existing way of capital markets, and
everything's frustrating. Yeah, totally. And these people, and we built a lot of amazing things together. But we sort of got to a point where, as the market was turning in 2023 or 2022, we raised a lot of venture capital, and we're starting all these different endeavors around.
I don't have details for you, so
we raised a total of 110 million in venture capital. Yeah, amazing group of investors. And when we sort of saw the market slowing down, I was like, look, our business is the path we were on was very thin margin of being able to make it work or not. And sort of at my heart of hearts, I knew I'm not a broker. I'm not like the head of a brokerage. I'm not a software guy, a technology guy. And I felt like this pull to just focus on our software. And I realized that the right thing for us to do is to scrap the brokerage approach and just double down as a software company. So, I mean, it was a very long, hard decision, but
you went to the Yahoo Finance and you saw what's a publicly traded brokerage company in point. When you went to see what JLO was trading at, then you went to see what Salesforce was trading at.
Something like that. It was sure. Yeah, absolutely. No, it's really like our team, I grew up as a kid in software, like hunting software and building tools with people, and everything and the software we had built was amazing. And we sort of look at it and we're like, this is not being used to its maximum potential just amongst our brokerage team, and especially as the team, as the market slows down, like it's not being leveraged the way that it should. And that happened to align with like a lot of the AI changes that have happened recently and just like internal operational stuff. And it turned out being, I mean, by far the best business decision I've ever made. Our company since then has just like grown tremendously. The products we build are incredible. Customers love our products. It's interesting because we were this broker. Right? Like you come to us and say, I have 123 Main Street and I want to finance it. Our team had incredible technology. We'd like work our magic and get you a great loan. It's very hard for you as a client to know if we actually got you an amazing loan or not. It's like there's no real A/B test. Like sure, you could give the deal to another broker and they'll talk to a lot of the same lenders and like a lot that they won't talk to, and it might have taken them 10 times the amount of work. So customers loved when we would get them financing, but it wasn't like they're like, wow, that was the best experience of my entire life. Now I have my phone thing that's blowing up with customers all day of like, this feature you launched is amazing. This thing you did is great. Can you build this thing for us? And that's so much more satisfying of a company to build, and also just like, of course, the end state will be a lot better, hopefully, but the overall business operation is just
I mean, right now you're empowering so many people in the capital market space, and you're allowing them to earn more and make more because of your software, and because like you're empowering them to go to the entire market and get the best deals possible for their customers. But before we go into kind of what Lev is today, can you kind of talk through the history of capital markets and how broken and fragmented the industry is?
Yeah, so commercial real estate is the second biggest asset class in the country, I think in the world. The U.S. market for commercial real estate is like half of the global market, if not more than that. There's tens of thousands of sponsor groups. Some of them are huge and some of them are tiny. And there's thousands of capital markets sources, of debt sources and equity investors, et cetera. And the transaction itself is usually large. So when you look at real estate, sort of automation, real estate tech, you look at residential mortgages, and over the past 10 years, there's been a tremendous amount of automation that has gone into residential mortgages between like Rocket Mortgage and Better.com and Blend, who provides software to sort of now other businesses. There's been so much automation that has happened, and most lenders see that as a sort of obligatory thing for them to do, like table stakes for them to run their operation, because they're doing so many loans that are 100,000, 300,000, etc. Commercial mortgages has sort of been left on the side because it's a larger transaction. It's super complex to underwrite and evaluate these different properties against each other. It's almost like providing a business loan. Like you're really digging deep into what each asset does, each tenant within each asset, et cetera, versus resi, you're just like trying to match the agency guidelines with like a few check boxes. That's been pretty normalized. So it's extremely broken. There's brokers of brokers of brokers, a million middlemen in between every transaction. Very little. There's definitely like the power law of like 80% of the profit and revenue is driven by a smaller portion of the market, and the best
Beside your JLLs, your New Marks,
and also not only those specific companies who are all incredible and provide incredible services and an incredible brand, but also the individual producers within a lot of the businesses are really driving a lot of the business and the margin. I think there's all this support.
What's the difference between, let's just say, a company like JLL and, let's just say, three guys based in Washington, D.C. that have their own boutique debt and equity shop? Is it just like JLL's more of a powerful name? They can go to a little bit more customers. Like, what's the true difference in your customer service and just platform?
I should caveat with the fact that JLL Spark is an investor in the company, so we've been in a relationship with them. They're amazing. I think, but I'm happy to talk about it. Like the truth is that the other ones are prospects or existing customers. So, I'm not politically correct anyway. So whatever. The fact is that if you're a high producing broker and you want to be focused on production, you're in a better spot at one of these larger organizations. You get a tremendous amount of support staff. You have everything handled for you: software, technology, office space, coffee, assistant, underwriters, marketing resources. there is a lot of cross-selling and sort of like cross-promotion that happens. It's not like you automatically got a huge funnel of leads just because you're at a figure shop, but there is a lot of additional services that you could pull in. Like you're working on a crazy industrial deal in the Midwest, you could like bring in the expert from there. There's a quant team that supports you. But I think one of the biggest things is the data and information that exists in a lot of these organizations. Now, my personal opinion is, not talking about any specific company, most of them are not using that data effectively at all. Like a lot of them, I always say on conversations with these groups, any one of these shops, and even like if you go to like a mid-market, mid-size type brokerage, the volume of data and information that's verified and accurate from their clients that they already have within their ecosystem, right? Like email, Dropbox, files, like SharePoint, whatever, all those places is so tremendous. Like there's so much data in there. It's really hard to leverage it and actually make use of it. And the classic cycle that we see happens is someone realizes it's an organization. They're like, okay, let's hire an intern to like do this thing and that thing. And like they would spend the summer compiling a bunch of stuff. And then like by September 15th, it's like totally gone.
Good data and good data out, but
Exactly. Yeah. So a lot of what we're working on as well is helping groups of all sizes better engage with their own data, like better access the data that they have within their organization, the transactions that they're working on, and AI is incredibly powerful to do that.
walk me through how that works. So, for example, we split we go to the market for Eastern Residential. We have two main broker relationships. We use JLL, and then we also use a boutique firm based in DC with three people. And we switch back and forth because it's like people always, I love both these guys, but there's a saying, people always hate their accounting. And you get execution on one, you're like, all right, let's give the next one to this guy, see how they do.
Yeah.
But you have this boutique firm with three people in Washington, DC. We're buying a deal outside Dallas. They go to, they send us the matrix. They send it to 30 people and 15 respond and 5 quote. What is, they make the deck themselves and they only let to 40 people or 50 people. Yeah. If they were to use Lev and be on a Lev platform, how does their process change?
Yeah, so we started off super focused on financing. I'll walk you through that process. We've since evolved tremendously. We serve investment sales brokers, financing brokers, sponsors or borrowers directly, lenders. The things that they do are always focused from their lens for the role that they're playing on that particular transaction. But in the end, we think that a lot of the actual activities are very, very similar. So let's walk through that deal, right? Like you go to them with a deal, a converting deal that you work on. They're probably starting off with like gathering a bunch of information from you. So there's an intake process. We have a product called Lev Vault where they have pre-selected checklists that they generate, and they create this deal room. You got a link, you upload whatever documents you have about that deal. It dynamically analyzes them, stores the important facts out of those documents into the user's system. And it's all like verified and cross-referenced against a bunch of different sources. Then they want to start putting together marketing materials on that deal. So if they probably have like an analyst in the office that takes the PowerPoint deck that they made for like the last similar deal, copies it, puts a bunch of information in, it takes hours of copying and pasting and verifying, etc. They open up Excel, do a bunch of work. So we have a product called Lev Memo, where you drop in the documents that you have, or in this case, they're already dropped in because you uploaded them, and it'll analyze all that documentation and generate a beautiful offering memorandum for the user to be able to make modifications. You could edit it within the app and publish a PDF with that deal. Then they put all the supporting materials into another deal room, right? They have the intake deal room from you, then they have a deal room to share it with lender LVO, right? Exactly. So we help generate that also. Again, all like heavily supported with automations and different agents that support or not, right? Some customers are like, look, I just want to do it myself. The software is amazing, but I'm going to like manually do whatever I want. Great, have fun. Or some people just use the AI and then audit the work that's going on and make that super easy of what's actually happening. And then you need to figure out how to go to on that deal. And this is like an insane world. So usually, I don't know this group you're talking about, I'm sure they're amazing, but usually there's like a producer guy or like a capital markets guy, or it was like, go to blah, 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 blah.
I can tell you that works. So they have an Excel with definitely data. They spoke to a guy 5 months ago. They're pricing at 350 over. So for the past 6 months, spreads have came in like crazy. But just because of what a conversation they had 6 months ago, or because they heard from someone else. So their pricing, that turned out really addictive.
Exactly. And that's only when they actually remember to put the data back into the spreadsheet and then share the latest spreadsheet with everybody.
Yeah.
Or what we commonly see is they realize that that's like a silly way to do it, and they go and spend whatever $50,000 implementing Salesforce and getting Salesforce licenses for everybody, or HubSpot, or whatever their solution is, or custom solutions, and they end up with this like jumble of not well formatted data. And it's not just that you have to get the data into Salesforce, you have to spend a tremendous amount of effort sort of like maneuvering Salesforce to be able to store capital markets data effectively. So it's like lender programs and pricing and recent transactions and all these different factors of what you're trying to gather. And we have a purpose-built platform for that. So what our customers do is they're able to import their contacts into our platform. They live totally securely and privately within their own space of their contacts and relationships and notes, but we enrich that with a ton of data that we have. So we, for example, pull in recent transaction data for that lender, and we pull in like recent program information that we've gotten from that lender.
So, for example, we closed on a deal a few months ago, 200 units in Abilene, Texas. It's in West Texas, about 2 hours west. It's Big Texas, West Texas, about 2 hours west of Dallas. And we used this boutique broker, and they really struggled because it's tertiary market. There's 50,000 people in the market. It's 2 hours west of Dallas, it's in the middle of nowhere. Dallas is the closest thing to it. And they really struggled identifying other tertiary markets in Texas. Hey, like what broker should I go to? Because like their initial list, they went to like all the big names that were priced in Nashville and South Florida and Dallas. Like they want to touch the smart bid. So how would Lev help them in the secondary and tertiary market in Texas identify what other good does it help?
Absolutely, that we do a tremendous amount there, and that's part of like the matching algorithm that we have and the data that we have. One thing that the search would do is first is helping sort and organize your existing relationships. So that team has a ton of existing relationships. Amazing. We'll surface like who's actually a good fit for this deal.
Getting roasted right now.
No, we no one knows who they are, and they're right. It sounds like they did a good job. So it's okay. Let's say they so they
Hopefully, honestly,
they end up with like a list of their own relationships that they should talk to. And that's amazing. Like that's step one is like you should go to your existing relationships. And then they could expand that search to our network of lenders. And we have data on like 7,000 or 8,000 different lenders with profiles and programs and contacts, like 50,000, 70,000 contacts within those lenders. So we're able to say like, this is the market, like here's a bunch of local banks within a certain radius who've done similar deals for and/or are actively lending commercial real estate. Here's a bunch of like regional banks that might be a fit for the deal. Here's a bunch of lenders that have done similar deals to this deal based on whatever, market type, region, whatever, all the factors.
I mean, it's amazing. I'm a huge believer that just like with the way technology is going, and it's just so easy to build technology companies today. As somebody who's building a technology company, your customers and the data you're able to aggregate is really what's going to moat you in this tech forward future. So I mean, that is, so, yeah.
We think a lot about that. Like the data that our customers' data is totally private to them. We don't do anything with it. We never do. We have a ton of data that we're buying and aggregating from other sources, and that's hugely valuable to our customers too. I think it's interesting. Like, what does a software company look like in 5 years when you could just build incredible software with zero engineering knowledge? We're not quite there, but it's like rapidly approaching. And it's an interesting thing to think about. It's like no matter how easy it is to build great software, being able to create a well compiled experience around that and around the data that you have at your organization, and being able to understand how your business operates and sort of like working for that is, I think, a unique thing, and that's a lot of what we about.
You're self-described AI maximalist. How are you implementing AI internally? And I mean, the AI tool that you're implementing right now, like how's it going to compound to where you are 5 years from now?
Yeah, I hate describing myself because then I become self-described. There's things that all describe. No, I did say, I remember I like that post where I'm like, I'm an AI maximalist. So I'm actually just an avatar. This is not written. No. I think that this is an Owen Voyager. This person's high-headed ever. Yeah. With an average aura of an Owen Clark. Yeah. I think that most people like have experienced ChatGPT and they're like, okay, or they tried like ChatGPT 3.5 or maybe even like try 4 and they gave it some like absurd thing and it didn't do exactly what they wanted. And they're like, fuck man, this is like smarter child on steroids. Like, you know, back to 6th grade or whatever. And that's like so preliminary to what the power of these tools are. You mentioned open cloud. I'm not sure how much our customers or how much your listeners might know what that is or not, but it's basically like an agentic, open source agentic system that someone published that connects to all your different tools and is able to execute tasks. Super exciting. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm a self-described AI maximalist, so I guess I can. We've been doing stuff like that within Lev for a year, and I've been running. I have a custom one like that I built that does like today's February 1st. I'm working on a board update to send to my board. I've 4 months ago, I went in and I needed to write a board update, and I'm like, here's an example of my board update. And here's all the tools and APIs that I use to get those reports. So here's the HubSpot API. Here's our Databricks that has all our usage data, etc. Like here's where you get the revenue. And starting the month after that, I just go in and I'm like, it's time for my board update. It compiles all the metrics, writes, and it actually, I've trained it to like, it asks me, you do this thing called creating a skill, like a skill. So I created a skill that was like, it asked me X, Y, Z questions like, what's the general story for the month you want to tell investors? What are some highlights? What's going on with engineering? Like, et cetera. It asked me 3-4 questions and I just like ramble to it or like paste random stuff from Slack or other places into it. And then I hit like, you know, make my update. And then I'm spending maybe 10 minutes saying on a like A+ quality board update.
How long were you spending on it before, the year ago?
I actually had a person who was responsible for dealing with it, and it would take like over 3 or 4 days of like not nonstop, but like it's 10 hours, something like that, for it to go, yeah, the few hours. And by the way, we have an incredible team. I love my team. They're really, really unbelievable. Like they are super bought into mission, incredibly good at what they do. I'm really proud of the team that we work with, but I would much rather have less team or like be less dependent on it, if anything. And I think one of the biggest things that causes inefficiency in a company is when you have all these interdependencies, like, oh, I'm trying to work on a feature or a marketing thing or whatever, and I'm like, I need to talk to 15 people and get them each to like sign off on it.
That's bullshit. I'm a huge believer. We never want to have more than 30 team members at co-sign. Everyone is an A++ player, really believes into the mission. I fucking love waking up in the morning, working with them, but it's important for me that we have a horizontal org. And the second you get above a certain threshold, like you can't be a horizontal org anymore. There's so many dependencies. You lose the quality of the team members because you can only have so many.
100%. And there's always this thing in management, like you shouldn't have more than 7 direct reports. And then Johnson Wong's like, I have like 100 or something. And I'm at a point where I think I have like 15 or 16 or something. And to your point, like editor made sweet spot. I think I could do more. I think I could manage a few more people. Like the thing that is powerful is like I need to know what they're up to at a given time. They need to know when to come to me, but I also have to make my resources available to them. So yeah, the tools I mentioned that I use to write my board meeting, we put that into a shared repository of skills and tools that everyone in the company can access. So anyone in my company can actually go and write a board update. Like, I don't think they need to, but it's amazing because they might need to write similar updates about, you know, whatever revenue trends or usage metrics or whatever it is. And those things compound on each other. It's like, I can do my work at whatever time I want from anywhere. Literally, like if you configure it right, you have Cloud Code on your phone and you could just like do crazy things there. And everyone else can do that also. And we could communicate to the extent we need to. And we have amazing calls. And now, when I get onto a call with a couple of people and we spend an hour and a half thinking about archetyping something, I don't feel like crap. Like, oh my God, I just spent an hour and a half on this like bullshit thing. I'm like, okay, we have a call transcript that came out of that. That's like super tremendously valuable knowledge. Let's process that and put into our organization's knowledge base. We have a bunch of like important debates that we had thinking about the future of things that are going to accelerate the organization rather than just an individual task that needs to get done. And that's like, it feels like the momentum is a whole different level.
It's an AI maximalist.
That's cool.
Speedy, I'm going to do some
But I didn't say that none of us are going to have jobs in 5 years, which is likely.
Could you walk me through some other AI tooling that you're doing internally? I mean, I think that board meeting example is just so interesting. What other examples are you doing? A lot of people that have listened to this are obviously not everyone is an open Claude type user, but like a lot of the people, pretty much everyone who's listening to this will be utilizing Claude code. And I think as someone who's in the forefront of AI specifically in your org, like what, just if you could riff on a bunch of different examples, I think
yeah. So we have I look at two things going on in the organization. One is using AI in our products and to serve customers. So we built internally at Lev this thing. I haven't shared the name publicly, but it's called Lev Cortex, which is our like agentic platform layer within Lev. It basically has access to all the activity that's happening within the Lev platform and use the user activity, and a bunch of tools where it could take specific actions. So that means that we can have a product manager with no formal technical training go in and create a new agent and test it and evaluate it across a bunch of like mock data and put it into production with zero support in a matter of hours, which is insane because it's like able to ship agents that do specific things extremely quickly. And so that's like the customer facing piece is like building AI into our products. The other piece is internal usage. Internally, we use I'm a big advocate of Cursor, which is a development tool, Claude Code, Codes. We use all of them where the bills are insane. But my internal like point to the team is whatever you think building software was, burn that to the ground. And that's also like I'm not an engineer by background. I've been doing HTML, CSS since like sixth grade or something. So I consider myself pretty technical, but I'm not. I was never like committing code to production before. And I think that's a reason that I'm like so.
Are you spinning PRs now?
Now, yeah, for sure. Yeah, all the time. And and it took some time for the team to get used to it of being like, like, am I going to comment on the CEO's PR? Like, is that okay? And also it's like the concept of building software is totally different. Like I've done it enough, and I don't have the engineering burden, the sort of formal training burden, where I could have like 5 different repos with a bunch of different work trees in each one, and a bunch of conversations going in within each work tree. So if I'm in front of my computer for 3-4 hours by myself, which I just tend to do at night these days, like I'm cranking stuff out at an insane load, and the team is getting a lot better at that as well. And that I think is like, as that training and knowledge becomes more prominent, I think it's just going to change.
How many people are in your org as of today?
We had 2 people start today. I think it's like 37 or something.
So out of the 37, how many are engineers versus non-engineers?
It's like 20 plus is product engineering.
So approximately 15 on engineering. Do you upskill and train the non-engineers in how to use Claude mode?
All day. I spend most of my day right now. Either I'm on a call with a customer, or I'm working on a AI-based project with someone on the team, and that might be with engineers on the team, or like helping someone on our marketing team get ramped up on how to use Cursor. And 100% of the time, sometimes there's like a false start. Like we did a training. I do like an hour session with people. So not hours, so I can do it with like a little bit of that. But I do like an hour with them and like help get their environment set up and everything, and like work on a test project. Sometimes that's like they get busy with other stuff, but I try to like enforce it, and they come back 100% of the time, and they just show me stuff that blows my mind. It's like, look, I build this crazy thing. I'm like, holy, like that's.
So these marketing team members that historically no engineering background once you kind of give people the aha moment of what they can do, is everyone leaning into it? Has anyone not really leaning into it, or
they probably don't work in the company, or will shortly not work at the company. But yeah, absolutely. Like I'll give a shout out to our new VP of marketing, Alex. He's incredible. Like he's a very careered head of market. Like has a great experience running orgs, like incredible build teams, etc. Managed millions of dollars in has abandoned him. It's a great strategic partner. He spends so much time at Cursor now, just like cranking his shit up. He hand built a huge update to our website, a bunch of tools that we give customers. I'm working on some stuff now to like make all of the marketing material that we generate. Because everything becomes code. Yeah. and it's so easy to interact between the different modules of code. You just get to this point where like I said, that compounding effect is so significant. So now we have one design library that our marketing team uses and our product design team uses and our front end engineers use, and it's all based on the same source of truth.
Yeah.
So everything looks incredibly consistent. And it's like the same screenshot that we use on our website to promote this feature is actually based on our actual app feature, because it's like referencing the same code. And it's the same thing that goes into like our one pager PDF that we generate, because it's one side together.
And say you're light years ahead of so many other companies. Playing around with the call this weekend, I really had that aha moment where I'm like, damn, like, and I've been using car code for a few weeks now, and as a non-engineer, I did stuff. Yeah, I do dabble, and I do a little bit of background in engineering, but I'm not a huge engineer. I had the aha moment this week, and that I really need to get all my non-engineers set up on Cloud Code, because what our partnerships team can do, a marketing team can do. I mean, it's pretty. We're talking multiples of productivity, and everybody wins. Like,
yeah, it's a new ballgame. I like to compare it to Excel. Like, I don't know what work life was like before Excel, but like, I know that if I go to someone and I'm like, I need a list of like whatever, and they give me something that's not in Excel, or like I give someone a project and they like don't put it into some sort of thing, like it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, this is absurd. And I think it's the same thing, but the tools are all the time more powerful.
you mentioned that you're at a really interesting point with Lev, that you've been having tons of success recently, and of course over the past several years. You're evolving into other industries or other sub roles within the course real estate industry. Can you touch on that? What are you transitioning into? What are you adding to the Lev stack? And what does Lev look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now?
Yeah, 10 years, I'm not sure that's far. The thing that we started off really focused on the financing part of the transaction. We realized that a lot of the stuff that we built, it's amazing for financing, like creating an OM with AI, applies to an investment sales broker who's creating an OM to go out to the market, or a lender who's creating a credit memo to take to their credit committee, or like agency lenders need to submit stuff back to the agencies. It's a lot of the same workflows. The closing checklist deal room applies across all the stakeholders. So you look at 4 primary stakeholders around commercial real estate capital markets: the sponsor, borrower, who's tracking deals, managing their deal flow, managing their relationships, managing all the investment sales brokers they know, et cetera, all the brokers they know, they're managing all that. We sell to financing brokers, which is a big part of our market today. We serve our turnkey full suite of tools that you need to run your business. And then we have products for investment sales brokers and lenders. And each of these products are sort of, because they're so built on in a single AI platform, you're able to create this incredibly specific experience for each of them, but still without like all the. It used to be that when you're building software for all these different stakeholders, you had to build all these rules to show everything that you're doing. Like, if you're this, then you're that. If you're this, then you're that. And now you could sort of program that all within the agentic infrastructure that we have. So it's been incredible. Just like we build this product, let Nemo for generating OMs, and we launched it for financing brokers. And we're like, okay, now let's get ready for investment sales brokers. It was like 2 days of work to like make it an incredible investment sales OM. And it's like gorgeous. And all the core work that you're doing on the foundation of like editor and research tools, et cetera, those are all shared across everything. So it's really powerful. And I think over the next few years, our focus is on just building more of this. Like, I think that there's like a AI slop world of just like, everyone builds random CRM, et cetera. I think most people want an incredible turnkey solution that's helping them also become better at using AI and using these tools. And I think that that's what we are for commercial real estate.
It's amazing. I have 2 requests for you. Number 1 is move appraisers to the top of the list, because as through every commercial real estate transaction, I mean, it takes 3 weeks to turn an appraisal, and through Lev, you already have a lot of the information that if you're already holding in, and the appraisers then need to make a beautiful package. It shouldn't take 2 to 3 weeks to turn around. I mean, they go to the property, boom, like you just pull a few values, and tax appeals. I mean, like they're submitting,
Those are good spaces. It's hard to pick sometimes, and I have good friends run Barry Evaluations, which is an amazing business and do super well. They're an appraiser with their own tech, But yeah, there's a million use cases around commercial real estate.
Can be an outward conversation when you tell them that.
No, for now, don't worry. Anyway, they had projects in that space. But the thing that I think is interesting is like when there's a technology wave, there's always like you have to become super technical to use the tools. Like you're buying Mac Minis and like setting up OpenClaw and like API keys and all this confusing stuff, which people are not used to. And then naturally there's an experience layer that gets built on top of that. And that experience layer is, I think, a huge opportunity. And we've seen that across every industry. And I think what we're trying to do is be that experience layer for AI on top of commercial real estate. Like you can take Certus Philippines, like our prompt is for like a one generation. It happens to be a series of prompts, but like you can just copy the prompt and like put it into Quad and it'll like do the same thing. That's what prompts are. It's what code is. So it's like, it's not that revolutionary, but being able to make that into, and that's the same for like any company that claims they're doing anything for AI, like it means they have an API call with a prompt and some context that they're sending somewhere and getting something back. But building an incredible experience on top of that that's cohesive and doesn't require and gives you the power of AI without requiring you to do all that setup stuff, I think is a huge opportunity.
Zooming out from Lev for a sec, what is one or two things you do to stay grounded and keep you focused on your mission? For me, I really started doing this about a year and a half ago. I was going to the gym over the past few years, a few times a week, but really going to the gym every morning. I mean, building a company, like you deal with so many different things. It's not always stresses, but there's just so many different things going on. It's important to keep the mind right. And going to the gym for me has been that big game changer. What about for you?
Going to the gym is big for me. Also, I've been off my game for a bit, but I have two incredible daughters. They're 5 and 3, and they're my whole life. And yesterday I just spent the day just like playing and building Legos and just seeing out with them in the house. And that's like, that just rejuvenates me for, I want to say a week, maybe like 2 days. And I'm like, I miss them again. But it's like I think also the realization, and one thing that all this AI stuff sort of like me, I realize is like life is so fleeting. It's like it's fleeting, and I unfortunately have to bring the pressure to your podcast, but I lost my brother, my big brother, like 4 months ago, and he was 36 years old, LP guy, like my big brother, you know, and he had all these things, all these nice things. Like this is his coat that I'm wearing. Like he had all these things, and you're like, none of that shit matters. Like I work all day, I love it. Would I work all day if I didn't love it? I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm the other guy that I don't have to make that choice. But the realization that like these things all come and go. And yes, we need to work as fast as possible and use the best tools and push as hard as we can. But that's not ultimately going to create any happiness for long lasting out of our lives. The thing that actually does is spending time with the ones we love. That's like our joy and gives them joy and happiness and pleasantness, raising our kids and family, being a good example to them, investing in community and helping people. Like I try to spend a lot of time in doing that. And and by the way, it's important to take whatever skill sets you have and apply it to those things too. Like with my daughters, I'm not like playing, doing makeup, even though if they would, I would love to. I'm like trying to get them to understand like science and math and things that I am able to teach them. And with like my community work, I'm vibe coding a full new infrastructure for a Jewish nonprofit I'm very close with. Like it's $1 million project. If they would have gone to a third party 6 months ago or a year ago, they would have gotten the quote for $1 million. Like we're cranking it out in a few weeks. I rallied some talent. We're just like cranking them on, and that's incredible. That's like long lasting and hugely impactful and good for the world. And leverages my ink skills.
It's amazing. Getting a bit more personal to kind of close out the podcast. We obviously are both Jewish. I grew up in a Jewish family. I spent some time in Israel, and over the past, I've always been very into just like my Jewish identity. But I would say over the past few years, I became more into it, wrapping to filling every day for almost 2 years straight now, and just kind of leaning into just like Hashem a little bit more has really, I think, allowed me to be more present in both friends, family, and
and business. We'd love to just kind of hear about like your relationship with Hashem, and like obviously you're very involved with Jewish organizations, and how you think about that.
For sure. I don't have the answers, but my perspective at this moment is like, God put us on this insane world with a set of skills and a set of challenges. And a tremendous time of opportunities. If we focus on the challenges, we're going to be in bed all day depressed. Like, no normal person wants to like wake up the day after your body eyes and try to like go back to work a week later, like any of those things. Or whatever the hardship of everyone is, doesn't even have to be that dramatic. Like whatever each person's hardship is. And the blessing that we have is a bunch of tools at our disposal, which is our loved ones who support us, the skills, natural innate skills that we have are things we like to do. It says in Kabbalah that the things that we like to do are tied to like the root of our soul. So it's like even as simple as like specific foods you like to eat is because your soul has an ability to elevate that food, or whatever. If it's in technology, we're able to take our skills that are totally unique to us and elevate not just that specific project, right? Like this project for his organization, Klein, which is amazing. You should check it out. It's like a daily Torah studied project. Incredible. The work that I'm doing there is hopefully going to have impact on that organization. But I also look at it as an elevation of all of the AI knowledge and like effort that I put in, period. Like all of that is being elevated and I don't know the word, but like it's being tied to godliness through the work that I'm doing in an attempt to do good. And that can definitely have like a swinging effect of like extreme guilt when you're not doing everything perfectly. But the right balance is being able to figure out like I am comfortable and happy and able to do these things, and that sort of like is a huge lesson.
This has been great. Thank you so much for joining us. Really interesting conversation. I appreciate it. We should just long talk.